Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sweet potatoes. Now, I am definitely not a sweet potato expert. This is the first year that I've been growing them, but I did a little research and I learned a few things, and I want to kind of go over the mistakes that I made and talk to you a little bit about what I've done, and then maybe get some recommendations from you. So now I live in Utah. It's zone 6, 5, 7, it's all over the place. We definitely have a short growing season. It gets hot in the summer and very cold in the winter. So I needed to find sweet potatoes that would fit those requirements. So I went on to Sandhill Preserve, which is a great place, it looks like, to grow sweet potatoes, and looked through all their varieties and decided I needed a bush variety because I have a smaller area, and I needed something that would ripen early. So I didn't want one that took a long time to ripen because I don't really have a long time to ripen sweet potatoes. So I did a group order with a bunch of different people. Sweet potatoes got here the second week in June. So the people that I did the group order with could not pick up their sweet potatoes immediately. So I put those in gallon pots and put them in under my grow lights so they could start growing, and then brought them outside later to harden off. And then for me, I thought, wow, my sweet potatoes, I can just put them in the ground. They obviously dug these out of the ground. I should be able to just stick them straight in the ground, and let me go show you what happened. Now, before we head over to the garden bed, I wanted to show you the sweet potatoes that I have that are still waiting for somebody to pick them up. They're in the gallon pots. These look absolutely gorgeous. They were good looking sweet potato slips when they got here. They were just rooted slips that were in paper towels and a plastic bag. And they looked great when they got here. So what we have here is a pink, so this one's a pink O. Henry. This one right here is the Puerto Rico USDA. And then there's the red ivy leaf. Now I can't remember exactly what these varieties are. I know two of them are the long vining type, and one of them is a bush type, or maybe it's a semi-bush type, and then they are all short day. So this was what was called the Northern Gardener's Selection. I think that's what they called it. I'll put the name up on the screen. So this is one of the varieties that we got, and I used one of those, and I used some of these too. And then I got, well, let me take you down and show you the garden bed and show you which one I got. Now this is the south side of my house where I planted my tomatoes and my pepita squash. It's the naked bear squash, and I'll give you a garden tour in my next video. But I was given another Vijayga bed, which is behind that, and I will put a link down below. I'm an affiliate for Vijayga beds and absolutely love them. But I have another one that I put the sweet potatoes in, and let me show you what it looks like. Now when I put this bed together, I did actually have access to some firewood. So the bottom portion is firewood, and then I put a good mix of just bagged compost, peat, vermiculite, and then some raised bed mix. And I put all of that in here. And it looks like it's doing really well. The only issue is you can see the big white wall on the side of the house. We've got a white fence on this side, so all the light and heat is reflected right in the center here. And it is scorching hot. I'm not going to be able to stay here very long because it's so hot. But I took my beautiful sweet baby sweet potatoes and stuck them right in this bed and put a thick layer of mulch and watered them heavily, and they promptly all died. Let me show you what one looked like. So this little stick right here is what all of them looked like within hours of sticking them in this bed. This one is not coming back. But I think the heavy mulch really helped, because look at this. We're starting to get regrowth. So all wasn't lost. This stick right here is starting to get regrowth. These are ivy leaf sweet potatoes. They are early ripening bush sweet potatoes. This one is also growing back. This one is doing really well. And then we're waiting to see what this guy does. And then we have the red lace leaf. So the lace leaf did really well. The ivy leaf nearly died, and the Puerto Rico did okay. The one thing that didn't have an issue is the zinnias that I stuck in here. Now I do have some questions for everybody. My question is, do I need to remove that thick hay mulch? From what I've read about sweet potatoes, it looks like they need to have warm soil to do really well. And as I feel down below the hay mulch, the soil is still really cool. Now it can't be too cold because the side area here is so hot. But from what I've read, it looks like they do better with black plastic or black weed cloth put over the top. Do I need to do that and remove the hay, or are they going to be okay with the hay? That is my question for everybody. I want to hear your experience, especially growing sweet potatoes in raised beds. Now, I did plant sweet potatoes in ground somewhere else on my property, and I wanted to show you what those look like also. Now, I'll do a garden bed tour a little bit later, but we've got squash planted already, and last year this entire area completely filled in with squash. It was absolutely wonderful. But I figured that we can direct squash leaves away from this area. I dug it down pretty deeply and I stuck sweet potatoes in here. This one's the Puerto Rico USDA, this one's the red O. Henry, and there's the red ivy leaf. I also had an extra red ivy leaf that I stuck in there. But the ones that I put here in ground, they did not die back and they seem to be doing well. I put a heavy mulch over the top and we're just going to see how these do. Hopefully there'll be enough room in this area. I think we can direct vines to kind of spread all over. We can direct the squash vines away from that area and take them out in that area. But hopefully we'll have enough room for everything here. Now, I will definitely be giving you updates as the year progresses, and I would love to hear your tips and hints on growing sweet potatoes because, as I said, this is my first year. How often should I be watering them? How often should I be fertilizing them? I would also love to hear what you do about the foliage. I've heard that it's edible. Have you guys eaten them? Are there any good recipes for it? And then once we harvest them, I'd love to hear how you cure them and then some recipes on how you use your sweet potatoes. So I'm excited for this new adventure of growing sweet potatoes, and I'm glad you're along for the ride with me, and I hope you go have a wonderful garden adventure.